Hi everybody, welcome to Landscape Rescue. My name's Stuart Moore, and on this video, we're gonna be doing a little Lowe's shopping for plants. This is a forest pansy redbud, so I don't know if you're necessarily familiar with those, but I guarantee you've seen them because they're very popular. Its new growth is kind of this reddish purple color. All right, so you see that? Very pretty, especially in the spring. And then as the year progresses, it gets to a darker green. $49.98. It's an 1.5-inch caliper, which is the width of the trunk, usually about 6 inches above the root ball is where they measure that. This would be a really good deal for $50 because that's a $220 tree. Here's another one, not another forest pansy, but a weeping snow fountain cherry. I really like weeping snow fountain cherries. They're a traffic stopper in the spring. It will be your favorite spring flowering plant. They're gorgeous cherries, really show up to the party in the spring. And this one's $119. In this size pot, your survivability rate goes up when things are potted because it gets to keep more of its roots. Coreopsis, you're familiar with Coreopsis. It's that prairie flower, full sun, corked pot, $2. So if you look at this, there is nothing here.
Something you put in your mouth but don't swallow.
Now there's nothing wrong with this thing. It had one kind of like spent bloom on it. And then it's ready to pop a little bit. This is early sunrise Coreopsis. Pretty. I can get yellows in other ways, black-eyed Susans, things like that. But this makes a very good front border. So if you're doing like English cottage, you know, the mullet of landscaping, business up front, party in the back, you can have a little bit forward of your boxwood hedges. You could do something like this early sunrise Coreopsis. And I think you would really be impressed with how that looks, especially with a backdrop of that pretty dark green that boxwoods bring to the table. And for that, I always like the Franklin Gem boxwood or a dwarf Korean boxwood. Any Shasta Daisies, I kind of have this love-hate relationship with Shastas. They like very, very well-drained soil, but they also they don't want to dry out. So it's kind of this. Once they're established, I don't think you can kill a Shasta Daisy with diesel fuel. It's that first year, sometimes I lose Shastas. And a lot of times I end up cutting them back and then they reflush and they're fine. These little quarts are $2 for Shasta Daisies. That's not a bad price. So this is a cool one. This little guy right here, $2, and it's a whirling butterflies. There is something to be said about something delicate with beautiful flowers, cool foliage, and whirling butterflies is the one that's going to do that for me. I do like to use it 10 to 15 inches high, 10 to 15 inches wide. So not really a huge plant, but you know, for $2, this would be a great addition. And when you see things like this, it's gonna help you develop massive action, right? So even if you're sitting on a flower bed for 6 months and you come to Lowe's, look at all these whirling butterflies. Look at there's 10, there's 20 here for $2 a piece. That's a pretty good deal. You know, in all actuality, $40, you're walking out with 20 plants. When does that ever happen? If you already had your flower bed built, this would be a great opportunity for you. And I think that's where my love for the discount rec comes from, is because I really can't afford a lot of the times to fill the flower. So I build the flower bed based on what I feel like the yard needs, right? If I move into a new house, that's usually what I do. I go build all my flower beds. I put 6 layers of mulch on there or 6 inches of mulch on there. I make sure it stays moist so the beneficial bacteria and all the, you know, the biological life that happens in the soil starts breaking that soil down. And then I sit on it. Then I wait until June-ish, and then the big box stores start putting everything on discount, and then I can go in and plant. And a lot of times if I can pull that mulch back and plant something, I don't have to remulch. and it looks great. So I'm just walking by and I see this sign that says roses 50% off. So here we've got some hybrid teas, and this is called Today Rose, and so it's an all year bloomer. It gets 4 to 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide, and I really think it would be a lot of fun to do a hedge of these. I budget about $40 for myself when I come to these things, which is a good practice to have. It needs to be really flexible, because what if you find like super crazy good deals? This is kind of one of those situations where wouldn't it be nice to have a really nice 5-foot hedge of beautiful roses attracting all the pollinators. This is kind of a really pretty peachy apricot color too, which is kind of sometimes hard to find in something that large. Kind of wanted to do another weeping cherry in the area that I'm thinking. $10 a piece. I could transplant these, I could move them whenever the weeping cherry budget becomes available. So I think I'm gonna get like 5 of these. Just cruising through, found some allium. Deer do not like to eat allium. It's in the onion family. So allium for anybody with deer problems would be a great option for $10. It's a pretty good deal. Okay, so here's another one, a Panicle Hydrangea. Look how pretty this is. This is in a 2-gallon pot, a firelight, right? So it's like the limelight hydrangea, but the fiery version of that. I've got one of these at my house, super excited. Now this is in a 2-gallon, so $26.98 is about where the price should be. It's not a great price, it's not a bad price, and you would never be disappointed in it. It's not like anybody has said, no, my Panicle Hydrangea, I'm just not into it. They're lying to you. This is a quick fire hydrangea. Quick fire means it turns red quickly. It's also the first one to bloom. So if you can take a look, you get a little bit more of a season out of a quick fire. They're in open bloom, so it doesn't weigh itself down very often. I've got a couple of these. Actually have like 5 or 6 fire and ice planted at my house on my berm. And I love them. And I'm telling you, they smell so good. And this is in a 3-gallon pot. So it's a little bit bigger than the one I just showed you. $39.98, so $40. So I'm sitting in line, I'm looking over here, and I could have sworn I recognized the Bobo Hydrangea from all the way over there. For $25, the Bobo is a pretty good deal. They get 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall. I'd say they probably get about 4 feet tall after they've been in the ground in full sun for a while. Still, in the hydrangea world, that's not very big. I like to trim mine at least once in the spring just to get the winter dieback. And it's a Panicle Hydrangea, so anybody that has issues with deer, these are gonna bloom on new growth. So keep that in mind. It's the Bobo, B-O-B-O, Panicle Hydrangea. It's a dwarf Panicle Hydrangea, and for $25, that's not a bad price at all. That's about right where it needs to be. And if you live close by a Lowe's, you can periodically check in and find out if they're gonna try to kill this thing, and you can get it for half off. All right. Just keep finding things that are a really good deal and advice that I've got to give you. I try to keep these things short, guys, but there's just so much information out there. I love talking about plants. Jeez Louise. And I love teaching, and this is one of the things. So these Shalom ribbon candy daylilies, I've used them before in some landscape jobs, and they blow my mind. They're so pretty. It's this peachy pink color with a dark purplish throat, and it's to the flower, and it's a daylily. Here's my thing. I understand $7.50 when you're needing to buy 20 of something. It's an expensive proposition, especially if you have big beds like I do. Once a week, go to a big box store or your local nursery. Your local nursery is going to be a lot more consistent, so a privately owned nursery, and buy one. Just every Friday on your drive home from work, buy one. One less Starbucks will get you one of these that will last you the rest of your lifetime. Daylilies are a fire and forget perennial. They love full sun. Once they're established, they're very drought tolerant. You want to put some drip hose on them kick it up when it's not raining, just so they stay healthy and they bloom well for you. But daylilies, I'm telling you, do not pass up an opportunity to plug daylilies into your landscape, and just buy one a week. Check this one out. Look how beautiful that is. God, I've blown my budget on these roses, but that's a tough one to pass up. That would be really pretty. And only the good Lord knows how to pronounce that. So here's the haul from the Lowe's shopping trip. I ended up getting 5 of the Today Rose. Rosa Today is the botanical name. And I'm pretty excited. And the funniest part about it was the cashier said, well, since they're dying, let me see if I can give you an additional 10% off. So I ended up getting these for like $7.50 a piece. So I thought I was going to go over budget by buying 5, but I ended up coming right under $40. So I got 5 3-gallon roses for under $40. It was like 39 something. That was a really, really good, successful trip. And I almost walked out of there with 10 more daylilies, but I didn't do it. I'm so proud of myself. All right, guys, see you later.